The Power of One More Try, full audiobook. Asterisk, how the smallest step forward can change everything. Introduction. Why one more try can change your life. There's a moment quiet, often unseen, when everything inside you whispers, just quit. You've tried, you've failed. You've stumbled so many times that even hope feels heavy. In that moment, walking away seems like the safest option. But what if that next attempt, just one more try, was the one that would finally change everything? This book was born out of that moment. I've been there. So have you. Maybe you're there right now, stuck between who you were and who you're trying to become. It's a painful, uncomfortable, confusing place, but it's also where transformation happens, you see. Success isn't usually about talent. It's not about luck or timing or even having the perfect plan. It's about the grit to keep going when no one else would. It's about waking up the next day after the failure, the embarrassment, the heartache and whispering, okay, one more try. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they stop trying. But the truth is, you don't need a massive breakthrough. You just need one more brave step. This book is not about toxic positivity. It's not a sugar-coated pep talk telling you to just believe in yourself. Life is tough. Growth is hard. But inside you is a power greater than the setbacks you've faced in the pages that follow. We'll explore why people give up right before their breakthrough, how to find energy when you're drained, what to do when motivation runs out the power of small steps, quiet courage, and radical self-belief. You'll meet stories of real people who kept going when everything said they should stop. You'll learn mental tools and simple practices to carry you through the tough moments. This isn't just about achieving goals. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit on themselves. It's about reclaiming your fire, fight your future. Because if you try one more time and then one more after that, you'll become unstoppable. So if you're tired, but not done, if you've fallen, but not broken, if you're searching for a reason to keep going, let this book be that reason. Let this moment be the beginning of your one more try. Chapter 1. The breaking point is not the end. We often think of the breaking point as the finish line where everything collapses, where dreams turn to dust, and where giving up feels inevitable. It's the moment when the weight of life becomes too much and the thought of continuing seems absurd. But what if the breaking point isn't the end? What if it's the beginning? When you're on the edge, there's a sacred silence that comes when you've reached your limit. You've cried all the tears. You've pushed through countless failures. You've run out of ideas, out of strength, maybe even out of hope. But somehow, despite all of that, you're still standing. That's not weakness. That's undeniable. Proof of strength. The world doesn't often talk about this space. It celebrates the winners, the ones who made it. But it forgets to mention that many of those winners were once just one failed attempt away from giving up. They stood at their own breaking point and decided to give it one more try. What if this isn't the end, but the turnaround? Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter found its home. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. What separated them from the rest? Not brilliance, not even timing. They simply didn't stop. Your breaking point might feel like defeat, but it's actually the moment where a decision is born. The decision to give up or to grit up. You don't need to know the entire path. You don't need to be certain it will work. You only need to take that next breath and try again. The brain's secret weapon. Resilient science has a name for this hidden strength. It's called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt, change, and strengthen through challenge. Every time you try again, your brain rewires. Every setback builds emotional muscle. Every failure becomes raw material for future success. Trying, again, isn't just hopeful, it's biological. It's how we're wired to grow. Redefining strength. We've been taught to think strength looks like having it all together, smiling through the pain, winning constantly. But real strength is failing and choosing not to quit. It's crying and then standing up again. It's whispering, "I'll try once more," when the world says you should be done by now. You've ever felt weak for breaking down? Let this be your reminder. You're stronger than you think because you're still here. Real life reflection. The almost gave up moment. Take a moment and think back to a time in your life when you nearly quit in a dream, a relationship, a goal. Maybe you did step away, but what happened next? Did time shift your perspective? Did a door open later that you didn't see at first? Now ask yourself, what would have happened if I gave it one more try? Tool, the Try Again Journal Start. This simple journaling habit today. Write the struggle. What am I on the verge of giving up on? Write the truth. What have I already survived that proves I'm stronger than this? Write the next step. What's one small, courageous thing I can do right now? Keep this journal close. When things get heavy, come back to it. Use it as your reminder that this is just a chapter, not your whole story. The cycle of growth. Struggle, surrender, spark strength. Most breakthroughs follow a cycle. Struggle, you hit the wall. Surrender, you admit you can't keep doing it the same way. Spark, you find a flicker of new energy, new perspective. Strength, you try again this time. You're different. Right now, you may be in the struggle phase. That's okay. Don't mistake struggle for failure. It's the soil where your next version is being planted. Final words for Chapter 1. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need a dramatic comeback story. You just need to make one choice. Try one more time. That one choice. It might be the moment your life pivots. You've reached your breaking point, but don't stop here, because your greatest strength might be just on the other side of this try. Chapter 2. The myth of the final failure. There's a moment we all dread, the moment when it seems like it's really over. The door closes. The opportunity disappears. You give your best, and it still doesn't work. In that moment, we're often tricked into believing something dangerous. This was my last shot. But that idea, the belief that you failed for the final time, is a myth. And it's one that destroys more dreams than failure ever could. The lie we tell ourselves, "I'm done." Failure has a loud voice. It doesn't just whisper, "You didn't succeed." It shouts, "You'll never succeed." It doesn't just challenge your effort, it attacks your identity. But here's the truth. Failing doesn't mean you're finished. It just means that particular path didn't work. That's all. Nothing more. Too often, we assign permanent labels. To temporary setbacks, "I failed" becomes "I'm a failure." "I got rejected" becomes "I'm unworthy." "I didn't make it" becomes "I never will." Let's rewrite that story. Let's dismantle the myth of the final failure. The growth hiding in the loss. Every no teaches you something. Sometimes it shows you how badly you want something. Sometimes it reveals where your plan needs adjusting. Sometimes it simply redirects you to something better. In life, you don't lose, you learn. The only real loss is when you stop showing up. Take Oprah Winfrey. She was told she wasn't fit for television. Walt Disney was fired for lacking creativity. Steve Jobs was once pushed out of his own company. They all faced what looked like a final failure till they proved it wasn't. What made the difference? They didn't accept the moment as their ending. They didn't hand over their story to someone else's opinion. They chose one more try. The science of belief. Why you stop trying. The brain hates uncertainty. It craves safety even if that safety means staying stuck. When you fail, your brain registers it as a threat. And to protect you, it creates. Excuses, it wasn't meant to be. I'm not good enough. It's too late for me. But here's what your brain doesn't know until you prove it. You're not stuck. You're being strengthened every time you try again. You teach your mind to stop fearing failure and start expecting growth. Failure isn't final, it's feedback. Imagine if babies gave up walking after falling once. Imagine if inventors gave up after one design. Imagine if love stopped after one heartbreak. Failure is just feedback. It's the world saying, that didn't work. Let's try something else. When you stop seeing failure as the end and start seeing it as data, you free yourself to try again smarter, not harder. Tool, flip the failure whenever you face a setback. Ask these 3 questions. What did this experience teach me? What can I do differently next time? What part of me got stronger through this? Reframe the event. Instead of I lost, say, I leveled up. I learned what not to do. I became more resilient. Story snapshot. The man who tried 5,126 times. Did you know Colonel Harlan? Sanders, founder of KFC, was rejected over 1,000 times when he tried to sell his fried chicken recipe. Some reports claim over 5,000 failures before he found a partner. He could have accepted any one of those rejections as the final one, but he didn't. And because of that, he didn't just build a business, he built a legacy. You don't need to be Colonel Sanders. But you do need to believe this. You haven't failed for the last time. Once you decide to stop trying, real-life reflection. Your almost success list, think of a time you thought you had failed, but something good came from it later. Write down 3 moments in your life where failure turned into unexpected growth. Opportunity or strength, use this as evidence. Your worst day didn't break you, it built you. Final words for Chapter 2. What if the thing you thought ended you actually started you? What if this is just one version of your dream, not the only one? What if your failure is just the foundation for something bigger? You're not out of time. You're not out of chances, and you're certainly not out of strength. You've got one more try in you, and that try might be the one that finally works. Chapter 3. The magic of small steps in a world obsessed with big wins and bold moves. We tend to underestimate the quiet, steady power of small steps. We think success means going all in, changing everything overnight, or transforming into someone unrecognizable but real change. It usually starts with something much smaller, a single decision, a single action, a single step forward. That's where the magic happens. Why we wait for the perfect moment? We often tell ourselves stories like, I'll start when I'm ready. I need more time, energy, or confidence. I have to figure it all out first. But the truth is, clarity comes from action, not from overthinking. Waiting for the perfect moment is like waiting for a storm to pass in a desert. It never comes, and while you're waiting, your life is on pause. The smallest step is infinitely more powerful than the greatest intention. Compound progress. How small wins stack up. Think of a drop of water hitting a rock. It seems meaningless at first, but over time, that tiny drop reshapes stone. Not through force, but through consistency. Small steps compound. Writing 1 paragraph a day becomes a book. Taking a 10-minute walk becomes a healthier lifestyle. Reaching out to one person becomes a network. The world doesn't reward occasional bursts of effort. It rewards persistence. Shift your focus from outcome to effort. We often focus on results. Did I lose the weight? Did I get the job? Did I succeed? But this focus can be paralyzing. Why? Because we can't control outcomes. We can only control our actions. Instead of obsessing over the finish line, focus on what you can do today. What's one thing I can do to move forward? What's one habit I can build over time? What's one brave thing I can try again? When your attention shifts from outcome to effort, if you regain your power, real change feels boring, and that's good. Here's a truth most motivational books don't tell you. Real growth often feels dull. It's not flashy. It's not always Instagram worthy. It's waking up early to write when you don't feel inspired. It's saying no to distractions. It's choosing the uncomfortable but honest path over the easy lie. Consistency isn't sexy, but it's the secret ingredient most people ignore, because the one who sticks with the basics longer than anyone else, that's the one who wins. Tool. The rule of one. Here's a simple system to spark progress when you feel overwhelmed. 1 minute of movement when you can't do a full workout. 1 paragraph of writing when you can't draft the full chapter. 1 kind message when you feel disconnected. 1 deep breath when anxiety rises. Why? Because momentum beats motivation. Once you start heaven with 1 tiny action, you activate energy, and that energy builds. The domino effect of courage. Imagine lining up a series of dominoes. The first one is tiny, only a few inches tall. But if it falls, it can knock over a domino that's 50% larger, and the next one, even bigger. By the 29th domino, it's big enough to topple the Eiffel Tower. This is how effort works. 1 small act of courage, 1 decision not to quit can tip the rest of your life into motion. You don't need to see all 29 steps. You just need to tip the first one. Real life reflection. Track the micro wins. Start a list called Today. I did. Each day, write down 1 to 3 small steps you took, no matter how simple. You'll start to see your growth in real time. Over time, these micro wins stack up and become undeniable evidence. You're not stuck. You're progressing. Story snapshot. The 1% rule that transformed a team in 2003. The British cycling team was a joke in the professional cycling world. They hadn't won a single Tour de France. Then came a coach named Dave Brailsford, who introduced 1 radical idea: improve everything by just 1%. They didn't overhaul everything. Instead, they adjusted seat positions, slightly improved sleep. Routines focused on hand washing to avoid illness. These 1% gains added up. By 2008. They dominated the Olympics. By 2012, they were world champions. It wasn't because of massive changes. It was because of small steps repeated relentlessly. What's your 1% today? Final words for Chapter 3. You don't need a miracle. You don't need more motivation. You just need a step, a single choice, a brave moment, a gentle whisper of effort that says, I'm still going. Progress isn't loud. It's quiet, it's slow, and it's happening right now every time you choose to try 1 more time. Chapter 4. Turning pain into power. Everyone has a story, a scar, a loss, a memory that makes your chest tighten when no one's watching. Pain is part of life, but the way we carry it is what defines us. Some people let pain harden them. Some let it drown them. But others, they rise with it. They use it. They turn it into power, and that's the path you're going to take. Pain isn't the enemy. Numbness is where taught to avoid pain, to escape it, mask it, scroll past it, laugh it off. But pain has a purpose. It's a signal. It shows us what matters. It shines a spotlight on what needs healing. Pain is proof that something touched you deeply. It's not weakness. It's not failure. It's evidence that you're alive and still fighting. The real danger isn't feeling too much, it's feeling nothing at all. What broke, you can also build. You every heartbreak, betrayal, loss, or failure contains a secret gift: power. The power to empathize, the power to rise, the power to choose differently next time. When you stop asking why me and start asking what now, you reclaim your narrative. Stop being the victim of your pain and become the author of your comeback. The brain's pain loop and how to break it pain lives in the brain like a looping soundtrack. I can't believe that happened. I should have seen it coming. Why wasn't I enough? These thoughts aren't just emotional, they're neurological. Your brain literally wires pathways around pain. The more you dwell, the stronger they become. But here's the good news: you can rewire those pathways through action. Every time you respond differently, every time you choose healing over hiding, you create a new route forward. Pain as a catalyst. It's not a crutch, it's easy to use pain as an excuse. I was hurt, so I gave up. They broke me, so I stopped trusting. I failed once, so I never tried again. But what if, instead of using pain as a crutch, you use it as a catalyst? Let your pain fuel your purpose. Let it drive your growth. Let it remind you what you never want to be, command who you're determined to be. Tool: the Pain to Purpose Journal. Try this simple journaling exercise. Name the pain, write down what hurt you. Be honest, no sugarcoating. Name the lesson. What did it teach you? What did you learn about yourself? Name the power. How can you use this pain to help others, to move forward? To change something? This transforms pain from something that happened to you into something that now works for you. Story snapshot: the girl who turned grief into global change. Malala Yousafzai was just a teenager when the Taliban tried to silence her for wanting an education. The bullet they fired could have ended her life and her story, but she turned her pain into purpose. She became the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate in history, advocating for girls' education worldwide. Her suffering didn't break, hurt awakened something in her. You don't need to be Malala, but you do need to believe this. You can rise from what tried to bury you. Real life reflection: what's your fuel? Look back on your past. Identify one painful event that still lingers in your heart. Ask yourself, how has this made me stronger? Who can I help because I went through this? What can I build from this? Your answer doesn't have to be big. It just has to be true. That's your fuel. Pain transformed is a superpower. You know who's dangerous. The person who's been broken and chose to rise anyway. The one who didn't get what they wanted and tried again. The one who lost but didn't quit. Pain isn't just something to survive. It's something to transform. It can harden your heart or it can sharpen your spirit. The choice is yours. Final words for Chapter 4. Your pain is not your presence, your potential. You are not the wound. You are the warrior. You're still standing. You're still breathing. You're still here, and as long as you're here, you've got one more try in you. Chapter 5. Built to Bend. The truth about resilience. When life knocks you down, and it will, it's not your strength that gets you back up. It's your resilience. Resilience isn't about pretending everything's okay. It's not about bottling up your emotions or toughing it out. Resilience is about bending without breaking. It's the quiet decision to get up one more time, even when no one's watching. And here's the truth. You're not born with resilience. You build it. Life will test you, and that's okay. Life has a way of testing us when we least expect it. A lost job, a broken relationship, a betrayal, a health scare, a dream that didn't come true. But adversity isn't the end of the road. Often, it's just the beginning of a better, stronger version of you. You don't grow in the easy moments. You grow when life pushes you on. You choose to push back. Resilience is a mindset, not a trait. Some people think resilience is something you're either born with or not. But research on real life says otherwise. Resilience is a choice, a mindset, a muscle. And just like a muscle, it grows every time you face something hard, feel like quitting, and decide to keep going anyway. That decision, one more tries, where your resilience is born. The bounce back formula, here's a simple framework to bounce back faster when life knocks you down. Pause, acknowledge what happened. Don't rush, feel it. Process, what can you learn? What is this teaching you? Plan what's one step forward, no matter how small. Push, take that step. Action rebuilds confidence. This isn't about being unshakable. It's about choosing to shake, but still stand. Tool, the resilience reset when you feel defeated. Try this 3-question check-in. What's one thing I'm proud of today? What's one thing I've overcome before? What's one thing I can still control? These questions recenter your focus. They remind you, you've faced hard things before and made it. You'll face this and make it again. Story snapshot: the comeback of J.K. Rowling before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. J.K. Rowling was divorced, depressed, a single mother on welfare. She faced rejection. After rejection, publishers said no. But she didn't give up. She kept writing. She kept trying. She gave herself one more try, and that final yes. It changed her life and millions of others. Resilience didn't make her immune to failure. It made her unstoppable despite. How to build resilience every day. You don't need a crisis to practice resilience. In fact, it's better if you build it daily in small ways. Get up on time when you feel like snoozing. Keep your word, even when no one's watching. Choose courage over comfort in tiny conversations every time you follow through. Even when it's hard, you reinforce this truth. I can trust myself, and self-trust is the foundation of unshakable resilience. When you slip, don't. Spiral. One of the biggest resilience killers is all or nothing thinking. I missed a workout, why even try? I broke my diet, might as well binge. I failed once, guess. I'm not cut out for this. But here's the truth. Slipping is not the same as quitting. Falling doesn't erase your progress. Staying down does. The most resilient people aren't perfect. They just bounce back faster. Final words for Chapter 5. You are not fragile. You are not broken. You are built to bend and bounce and begin again. The strongest people you know, they didn't escape. Struggle, they rose from it step by step, fall by fall, try by try. So when life shakes you, remember this. You don't need to be invincible. You just need to be resilient. And you already are. Chapter 6. Momentum over motivation. We often wait for motivation to strike before we act. We say, I'll start when I feel ready. I just need to get in the right mindset. I don't feel motivated today. But here's the secret. The most successful people already know. Motivation is a myth. Momentum is the truth. You don't need to feel like it. You just need to begin. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation is like the weather, run predictable and out of your control. Days, it's sunny. Most days, it's not. If you only take action when you're inspired, your progress will be inconsistent at best, non-existent at worst. Real change doesn't come from motivation. It comes from discipline, habits, and momentum. The first step is the hardest thing. Of a train, it takes a tremendous amount of force to get it moving. But once it does, it glides effortlessly, even uphill. The same is true for you. That first step, that's where all the resistance lives. But once you take it, every next step becomes easier. Waiting for motivation keeps the engine cold. Warms it up. The momentum loop, here's how real change happens. Action gives progress, gives confidence, gives more action. Let's break that down. You take one small step. You see a tiny result. You feel a spark of pride. That pride fuels more action. This is momentum, and it multiplies every time you show up. Tool, The rule of one when you're stuck, overwhelmed, or drained. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do right now? Not 10 things, not perfect things, just one. One email, one push-up, one glass of water, one page read, one honest conversation. One leads to another, and another. That's the magic of momentum. Story snapshot. The Power of Small Starts, James Clear. Author of Atomic Habits didn't build his platform overnight. He started by writing one blog post every week even when nobody was reading. Week after week, he showed up. His audience grew. His habits solidified. His momentum skyrocketed. That blog turned into a best-selling book and a global brand. Not because he was the most motivated, but because he was the most consistent. Progress isn't linear, keep going anyways. You'll take 10 steps forward, other days, one step back. That's okay. Momentum isn't about perfection, it's about direction. When progress feels invisible, remember the seed underground is still growing. The weight you lift today makes you stronger tomorrow. The chapter you write today shapes your future success. Keep going, even when it's slow, especially when it's slow. Make momentum your identity. The most powerful shift you can make is going from I'm trying to exercise gives to I'm the kind of person who moves daily. I'm writing a book gives to I'm a writer. I'm learning discipline gives to I'm someone who shows up. Momentum sticks when it becomes part of who you are, not just something you do. Final words for Chapter 6. Motivation may start the fire, but momentum keeps it burning. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait at all. Just start. One small action today becomes one massive shift tomorrow. Your future isn't created in a single breakthrough. It's built in quiet, steady steps, the kind you're already capable of taking. And if you fall, no problem. Get up, reboot. Try one more time. Strong enough or worthy enough, your actions will quietly align with that script. But the opposite is also true. If you believe you can, or you believe you can, you're right. Henry Ford, your belief becomes your identity. And your identity becomes your destiny. Your brain follows your beliefs, your subconscious mind is always listening. If you constantly tell yourself, I never stick to things, I'm just not lucky, I always mess up, then your brain looks for ways to make those stories true. But when you start shifting the script even slightly, you change your behavior. You stop playing small. You stop sabotaging your own progress. Belief is built by repetition. Belief isn't magic, it's repetition. Repeating the truth until you start to trust it. Repeating action until it becomes identity. Repeating new thoughts until the old ones lose their grip. You don't need to believe it fully at first. You just need to be willing. Tool. Replace to rewire. Try this exercise. Write down 3 limiting beliefs you've been repeating. Rewrite them into empowering alternatives. Example, I always give up. Give. I'm learning to. Follow through, I'm not good enough. Gives, I'm growing stronger every day. Speak them out loud daily. Your brain can't argue with repetition and proof. Final words for Chapter 7, you become what you believe. So believe in your strength, believe in your future, and most of all, believe in your ability to try again. Chapter 8, fear is a compass. Chase what scares you. Fear isn't your enemy. Fear is your guide. Most people think fear means stop, but often fear simply means this matters. You're scared because you care. You're scared because it's new. You're scared because this moment has the potential to change. Is this fear based on fact or just a story? If I push through this fear, what might be possible? Often, the life you want most lives on the other side of what you're afraid to face. Not all fear is bad. There's a difference between survival fear, jumping out of a moving car, growth fear, speaking up, starting over, taking the leap. One is danger. The other is discomfort. Most of our fears aren't life-threatening. They're ego-threatening. Push past those and you evolve. Story snapshot: Sarah Blakely and the fear of failure. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, credits her success to one thing: she learned to reframe failure. Growing up, her father would ask, "What did you fail?" At This Week, instead of being ashamed, she was taught to celebrate effort. That mindset gave her courage to launch an idea with no business experience because she wasn't afraid to fail. She was afraid not to try. Tool: the fear flip next. Time fear speaks up. Do this. Write down the fear. Flip it into a challenge. Scared of being seen gives, "I'm ready to be visible." I'm afraid to start over gives, "I get to begin with wisdom." Take one action with the fear. Don't wait for it to disappear. It with you. Final words for Chapter 8. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a spotlight, showing you where the treasure is, so feel the fear. Name it, face it, then move forward anyway. Chapter 9. Fail forward. How mistakes move you closer to mastery. Failure isn't the end. It's feedback. It's fuel. It's a redirection, not a rejection. The most successful people in the world, they've failed more than anyone else. A lesson about what doesn't work. A filter that reveals your real level of commitment. Failure isn't failure unless you stop trying. Otherwise, it's just data. The Fail Forward formula: here's how to turn failure into fuel. Feel, acknowledge the sting. Don't rush. Find what went wrong. What was in your control? Fix, adjust the strategy, not your worth. Forward, apply the lesson and take action again. Story snapshot: Michael Jordan's Mrs. Michael Jordan, widely considered the greatest basketball player of all time, missed over 9,000 shots in his career. He lost nearly 300 games. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Tool: the failure log. Instead of hiding from mistakes, log them. Yes, right. What you'll do differently, how you grew. Over time, you'll see what most people miss. Failure isn't your weakness, it's your training ground. Final words for Chapter 9. You are not your mistakes. You are not your setbacks. You are not your past. You are someone who's learning, someone who's growing, someone who keeps showing up. Fall, learn, rise. And when in doubt, try one more time. Chapter 10. Resilience is your superpower. Resilience isn't about being tough. It's not about hiding your pain, pushing away your feelings, or pretending you're unaffected. Resilience is your ability to rise even when everything inside you says stay down. It's not about being unbreakable. It's about being unshakable. What resilience really means: resilience is choosing hope when it's easier to give up, taking one more step when you're exhausted, looking at failure and saying, "Not today." It's built every time you fall and decide to get back up. Strength through struggle. Think about this. Diamonds are made under pressure. Muscles are built by resistance. Grow tall in strong winds. You're the same. Your struggles don't weaken you, they shape you. Story snapshot: Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. He lost his youth, his freedom, his family's presence, and yet he never lost his vision. He said, "The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." That's resilience. That's power. That's the heart of trying one more time. Tool: resilience rituals. Build resilience daily. Breathe, slow your mind, anchor your nervous system. Reflect. Journal your wins and small ones. Reconnect. Call someone. We're stronger together. Repeat. Show up again, even if it's messy. These rituals keep your spirit strong, even when life is heavy. Final words for Chapter 10. Life will test you. That's a promise. but your resilience. That's your response. No matter what you're facing, you are allowed to fall. Just don't forget, you're also allowed to rise, and you always have one more try in you. Conclusion: your next step is everything. This book isn't just about motivation, it's about movement. It's about choosing action, especially when you don't feel ready. You've learned that small steps matter. Progress is rarely linear. Belief, courage, and resilience can be built. Failure is fuel. Fear is direction. Momentum outlasts motivation. And most of all, you are never out of chances. Your life changes when you decide to. Try again. Speak up. Start over. Show up. Take the leap. Forgive. Commit. Begin again. Again, no matter how many times you've quit, struggled, or doubted yourself, today is a blank page. A brand new chance. Your power is in one more try. What if all it takes to change your life is one more attempt? One more call. One more workout. One more conversation. One more chapter written. One more day sober. One more moment of bravery. That one more try might be the one that finally works. Final words: you are not broken. You are becoming. You are not behind. You are just beginning. The smallest step forward can change everything. So don't stop now. You have what it takes. You always have. Now go show the world what happens when you try one more time.